Hi everyone, my name is Alana and I'm a psychology student at the University of New England in Australia, and I'm here to talk to you about overcoming a nail biting habit. Whilst it may seem like nail biting can be easily overcome, many people, including myself, have been unsuccessful in their attempts to stop biting their nails. So if you're sick of being embarrassed about the way your nails look, stick around and watch this video and I'll show you how you can take your nails from looking like this to this in just 5 weeks, or with the help of behaviour modification techniques. If you are still here, then that means you are serious about defeating your nail biting habit. So where should you start? Well, first you'll want to define your target behaviour. What does nail biting look like for you? This will be important when it comes time to self-observe and self-record the behaviour. Make sure that you break the behaviour down into its component parts when defining it. For instance, you place your finger in your mouth, you bite the fingernail, and then remove the hand away from your mouth. You then need to decide how you are going to measure your target behaviour. For nail biting, you'll be interested in how often you bite your nails and how long for. A good method for this will be real-time recording, where you will record the onset and offset of each instance of the behaviour. This method will allow you to account for frequency and duration of nail biting. Keep in mind that you won't be recording each time that you bite the fingernail, but instead an episode of nail biting. I then recommend that you conduct what's called an indirect functional assessment. This will involve writing down what you currently believe to be the causes or antecedents of your nail biting and what leads you to continue to engage in nail biting, or the consequences. For many people, nail biting occurs in reaction to stress or tension and helps to alleviate these feelings, which reinforces the behaviour. Now that you have defined your target behaviour, decided how you are going to measure it, and indirectly reviewed the antecedents and consequences of your nail biting, you'll need to conduct what's called a baseline period. This will need to be at least a week or 2 weeks if you have the time. Before beginning, create a data collection sheet, either electronically or on paper, where you can record the onset and offset, frequency, and antecedents and consequences of your nail biting, and also things such as where you were and who was around. This information will help you understand when you are most likely to engage in nail biting and allow you to carry out what's called a direct functional assessment and see whether your beliefs about the antecedents and consequences of your nail biting were right. It'll also be used to compare your pre- and post-intervention levels of nail biting and allow you to tailor your interventions to your own situation. With your baseline information in hand, you are now ready to select and implement tailored interventions to help you eradicate your nail biting habit. There are a range of behaviour modification techniques that you could implement to help you overcome your nail biting habit. Given that nail biting is a habit behaviour, the first intervention method that you should look at implementing is called habit reversal. Habit reversal involves training yourself to become more aware of your nail biting, developing incompatible responses, and recruiting social support. A good way for you to become more aware of your nail biting is to implement a different technique called aversion therapy. For nail biting, this would involve applying a distasteful nail polish to your nails. This way, every time that you place your fingers into your mouth, the disgusting taste will help you become more aware of your nail biting. This will also function as a positive punisher, which will decrease the likelihood that you continue to engage in nail biting. Incompatible behaviours are behaviours that interfere with your ability to engage in the target behaviour. For nail biting, wearing thin cotton gloves or chewing gum are two helpful incompatible behaviours, as it engages the two body parts that nail biting requires, the hands and the mouth. It is also a good idea to implement another technique here called differential reinforcement of an incompatible behaviour. This requires you to pick a reinforcer and reinforce yourself when you engage in the incompatible behaviours. The goal of this is to increase the likelihood that you will engage in the incompatible behaviours rather than nail biting. Make sure that you pick a reinforcer that is reinforcing for you and that you can provide yourself with it immediately after you engage in the desired behaviours, in this case, the incompatible behaviours. Recruiting social support is also crucial for successful habit reversal. Your social support system will be responsible for reminding you to engage in your incompatible behaviours if they happen to catch you biting your nails. Given this, it is important to choose people that you are close with and that will be around you during the intervention period. A good idea would be a parent, a partner, a co-worker, or a combination of these. Another way to utilize your social support system is to involve them in the reinforcement process. This can be done by setting yourself weekly goals, such as no more than 10 nail biting episodes in a week. Have your support network provide you with a reinforcer if you meet these weekly goals. Another differential reinforcement technique that is useful in overcoming a nail biting habit is called differential reinforcement of an alternative behaviour. This will require you to pick a behaviour or behaviours that serve the same function that nail biting does. Two alternative behaviours to nail biting, especially in cases where nail biting occurs as a result of stress or tension, are the use of stress balls and deep breathing. When you feel like biting your nails, use stress balls or engage in deep breathing instead, and then immediately provide yourself with a reinforcer. This could be the same reinforcer as before or different, it is completely up to you. This technique will decrease the likelihood that you continue to engage in nail biting, as you will now have some new behaviours that serve the same function that nail biting does. Finally, review your baseline information to determine the antecedents and consequences of your nail biting. You should find that nail biting is automatically reinforced, which means that the behaviour itself provides the reinforcing consequences. As stated earlier, nail biting tends to occur in times of stress and tension. It may also occur in times of boredom. This means that the behaviour is automatically negatively reinforced. For some people, nail biting may also be automatically positively reinforced by providing sensory stimulation for the individual. Given this, it is important to try and eliminate or limit the reinforcement provided by the behaviour itself. You can do this by interrupting the antecedent behaviour consequence chain, or the ABC chain. For instance, when the urge to bite your nails arises, you could take a break from what you are doing, step outside, make a cup of tea, or swap tasks. For those of you that get sensory stimulation from chewing on the removed nail piece, a good way to interrupt this ABC chain would be to not allow yourself to chew on that piece of nail. Overall, during the intervention period, you will want to continue to self-monitor your behaviour and record it in a data collection sheet. You will only be interested in recording the onset and offset of each episode, as this will provide you with the information you need for frequency and duration. This will allow you to see whether your nail biting episodes have decreased since the implementation of your interventions compared to baseline levels. Some helpful tips for when you reach this stage is to implement all of these suggested techniques at once and for a minimum of 5 weeks. Additionally, I highly recommend that you take photographs of your nails before you begin your intervention and then throughout the weeks of your intervention. This will help you with your motivation and should instill a sense of pride when you are able to look back at your progress. Once you have made it through your intervention weeks, it is important that you switch your focus to the long term. The goal of any behaviour change project is for it to be successful in the long run and apply across a range of situations. For you, the best course of action is to continue to reinforce your alternative and incompatible behaviours. However, rather than reinforcing these each time that they occur, swap to an intermittent reinforcement schedule. An intermittent reinforcement schedule is more resistant to extinction because you will only provide yourself with reinforcement after you have engaged in a specified number of these alternative or incompatible behaviours. It is important that you only increase the number of responses needed by a small amount to ensure that this process is gradual. It is also a good idea to test your new behaviours across a wide variety of different situations to ensure that generalisability has been achieved and that you are able to implement these behaviours across them. If you, like me, have been dealing with a nail biting habit for some time, you're going to need to be highly motivated to overcome it. But I am proof that with this motivation and following the steps in this video, that you will have long and strong nails in no time. I hope this video was helpful and that you, like me, were able to eradicate your nail biting habit. Please don't forget to like this video and share it with anybody else in your life that needs some guidance with overcoming a nail biting habit. Good luck everybody, and thanks for watching.